medieval handwritten manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible were considered extremely precise, the most authoritative documents from which to copy other texts. Even so, David Carr asserts that Hebrew texts still contain some variants. The majority of all variants are accidental, such as spelling errors, but some changes were intentional. In the Hebrew text, memory variants are generally accidental differences, evidenced by such things as the shift in word order found in 1 Chronicles 17:24 and the 2 Samuel 10:9 and 13. Variants also include the substitution of lexical equivalents, semantic and grammar differences, and larger-scale shifts in order, with some major revisions of the Masoretic texts that must have been intentional. Intentional changes in New Testament texts were made to improve grammar, eliminate discrepancies, harmonize parallel passages, combine and simplify multiple variant readings into one, and for theological reasons. Bruce K. Waltke observes that one variant for every 10 words was noted in the recent critical edition of the Hebrew Bible, the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia, leaving 90% of the Hebrew text without variation. The 4th edition of the United Bible Society's Greek New Testament notes variants affecting about 500 out of 6,900 words, or about 7% of the text. And ethicist Jaco Gericke adds, "The meaning of good and evil, the nature of right and wrong, criteria for moral discernment, valid sources of morality, the origin and acquisition of moral beliefs, the ontological status of moral norms, moral authority, cultural pluralism, as well as axiological and aesthetic assumptions about the nature of value and beauty. These are all implicit in the texts. However, discerning the themes of some biblical texts can be problematic. Much of the Bible is in narrative form, and in general, biblical narrative refrains from any kind of direct instruction, and in some texts, the author's intent is not easy to decipher. It is left to the reader to determine good and bad, right and wrong, and the path to understanding and practice is rarely straightforward. God is sometimes portrayed as having a role in the plot, but more often there is little about God's reaction to events, and no mention at all of approval or disapproval of what the characters have done or failed to do. The writer makes no comment, and the reader is left to infer what they will. Jewish philosophers Shalom Carmi and David Schatz explain that the Bible often juxtaposes contradictory ideas without explanation or apology. The Hebrew Bible contains assumptions about the nature of knowledge, belief, truth, interpretation, understanding, and cognitive processes.